Welcome back to another episode of Let's Chop It Up. How my brothers doing this weekend?
Excellent. Things are going great. They could not be better.
That's good. Oh man, my boy Rod froze, so we gotta get Rod back. Derik, what you drinking, man?
Oh, this is that spice Bacardi, brother. You know what I mean? This is proper broadcasting equipment right now. You know what I'm saying? So, I got to get myself ready to, relax with y'all, man. I hope everybody, and I invite everybody watching at home or wherever you at to do the same, brother.
Have a little taste.
Enjoy yourself.
You look like you're in a different location, man. Look like
man. You know what, man? I can't complain, brother. Listen, let me tell you. Let me set the mood for you. Right now, I'm with my family up in the Catskills, man, and we're staying with friends up here. Bro, I think we got up here Friday morning, and we just basically been cooling out, man. Just hanging out, at the foot of a mountain, man. Just like that's the backyard. My kids riding ATVs, man. Last night we were up to like I don't know what time, just out there watching the sky, man, and just burning a bonfire, smoking cigars, drinking my little rum, and and listening to music, brother. You know what I mean? The whole galaxy was our show, man. You know what I'm saying? Watching shooting stars, everything. Ain't nothing like the sky up in the Catskill Mountains, brother. It's falling on top of you, man. I'm telling you.
Boy, you living like white folks, man. You living good.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's how I felt, man. I got my privilege ready. I'm getting my privilege up, though.
Kelvin, what's going on?
There's a privilege card, right?
Oh, it's a privilege card?
Yeah, there's a privilege card. We don't have it, but they have them. I know I don't have one.
I might have a black privilege card on certain degrees. I
got a black card. I got 2 black cards, but I don't got no privilege card.
You get a black card, but I don't know how much privilege you're getting with it, though. Yeah.
Kelvin, what's going on with you, man?
I didn't want to go after that. He in the Catskills and stuff like that. I'm sitting right here in the Ville. So I mean, how do I follow that up? He's supposed to let me go first. No, everything is good. I mean, I'm just, what it is, D? I'm just thankful, man. I'm thankful to be healthy. I'm thankful to be alive. I don't want to take that for granted. It's good to see you great brothers. This is the #1 podcast in the world. You just can't duplicate this. So I'm just good to see the crew and the family, but everybody's good. Looking forward to Thanksgiving. And see, the good thing about me is this, how people start panicking and worry about what they're going to buy and stuff like that. When you wanted the minimum wage, brothers, you don't have to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking it back to the old school in kindergarten where I make people gifts, give somebody a drawing and stuff like that. So, but everything is good, man. I feel really good. And it's good to see you guys. I'm looking forward. A lot is going on in the world, and we come tonight to chop it up. I mean, we got to really, really unpack a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but I'm glad. Thanksgiving, is the pagan holiday, whatever you want to call it, but it is my favorite holiday because, like you said, you don't have to bring in no gifts. The only thing you have to bring is your appetite and a conversation, and you better not renege in spades. That's all you have to do on Thanksgiving Day, man. Seriously,
Thanksgiving spades game is real, bro.
Word up. What's your brother's favorite meal for Thanksgiving? What y'all like to eat the most when y'all have on Thanksgiving?
Oh man, when I'm home, my mother's slowed down, man, but she, it's that soul food, man. It's that collard greens and candy yams, bro, and and that turkey, of course, is always on point, So I miss my mother makes them. She only makes it once a year, and we ain't been getting it. But that's that banana pudding, bro. I love banana pudding, bro. The sweet potato pies and banana pudding. Oh my God.
What's your Kelvin?
Okay, so I don't have my mother and father anymore. So obviously, it's nothing like the cookie you was raised on. But years ago, someone made some stuffing with shrimp in it. It was shrimp stuffing, and I have never had anything like it before in my life. And I had shrimp stuffing, and I mean, it was phenomenal. And that is my favorite dish that I've ever had for Thanksgiving. Other than that, the traditional stuff. So, but stuffing, I'm a big stuffing person if it's right. And I think stuffing is hit or miss like potato salad. Either it's going to be good or it's going to be bad. It's really no in between with it.
Isn't that white people potato salad with the raisins, right?
No, I can't take all that. I really can't take.
Yeah, you gotta always find out who made the potato salad, man. When you come to visit, who made the potato salad?
Oh,
you know what I mean? You gotta listen. What's going on, Rod?
What up, Rod? Yeah, Rod is back. Sorry, Rod, technical issues.
Yeah, I'm having technical issues. You guys can hear me?
Yeah, you good, Rod. So, the question was, that's all good. The question was, Thanksgiving's coming up. What's your favorite meal, Rod? What part of Thanksgiving?
My favorite meal is pretty much the dressing and mac and cheese.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. Yeah.
Oh, he froze again. Man,
man, yeah, we losing.
That's all right. It's all right. It's all
But
right.
listen, it's all right. He got it in. He got it in. Mac and cheese. That's what it is.
Yeah. We got him back.
Yeah, you know.
He got his black card back.
So what's up with you? What's up with you, D?
Yo, Rod, you back? Is Rod back? Oh yeah, he's moving again. He's back. So for me, right, my favorite meal, since I don't eat pork anymore, from my family's from down south, we like chopped barbecue. Okay. So my mother makes it with a turkey chop barbecue. And the one thing that every black household for Thanksgiving you better have is hot sauce.
Oh, that's a must.
You put on everything. You know what I'm saying? And then I like my sister candied yams. Those are delicious. Those are and I love that joint. So I can't like.
Did you say hot sauce?
Gotta have hot sauce, bro. Got hot sauce in my bag. You know, Hillary Clinton tried to jack us on that hot sauce. Tried to piece us, but I'm in love with hot sauce, brother. If you don't have hot sauce in the house, you gotta move on. So Rod is back.
Now, are you one of these people that put hot sauce on something before you taste it?
Yes, because I put it on the greens. Because listen, everybody don't cook greens well, right? I love my mother greens over anybody greens. Some people greens taste like dirt. So
the greens is very personal.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's very personal. So with the greens, off the top, it's not my mother's hitting it with the hot sauce mad hard before I even taste it. I have to. You know?
Okay, so that brings up a question. I really want to ask this question. So now, some of us are old enough to remember the old Sugar Hill song when the chicken tastes like wood and this, that, and third. If you go someplace and you eat someplace and the food is not good, what do you do? Now you've already committed. It's already on your plate. You're grown. You can't throw it out. You're in people's presence. What would you do? Because the dirt greens don't sound like a good look.
So what you do is, right, you got to fill up on the breads. So you get the rolls and all that stuff. And you tell people, like, you taste the food, like, hey, give me some more rolls. Then once you fill up on the rolls, you just tell them, yo, I'm full. I ate too much bread.
Yeah, that's pretty smooth right there. That's pretty smooth.
I'm quick with this because I hate having like bad food places, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think what you got to do is you got to take it to go. You got to listen. I want to wrap this up.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Somebody said Rod on that Teddy Riley.
Yeah, Rod got that Teddy Riley Wi-Fi.
He got that Teddy Riley card.
yeah. But I went to my boy's house in I think it's called Greedyville, South Carolina. I was in college. I swear to God, this was going on. They were cooking. His mother was cooking breakfast for us, and I ate. So she had grits. And it was lumps in it, right? So I kept tasting apple. So I said, man, I never had grits with apple in it. So I ain't got no damn apples in my grits. So now I'm like, what are the chunks in the grits? I just wanted to throw up. I was like, man, it looked like that slavery mush that they were given on the Middle Passage boat, man. I was like, I'm not doing that joint anymore. So, so this week was kind of funny, man. Yo, when you look at the news and stuff, like, let's talk about this gremlin, Lil Wayne. Did y'all see that Lil Wayne just got arrested for gun charges? I think he's facing federal charges now.
I did hear about that.
Yeah, I heard about it. I haven't really read it though much more because he gives me a headache under normal circumstances, bro. You know what I mean? And to see or to hear that he's going through that, man, after the whole Trump business and all of that, he's just out here for the wrong reasons, bro. I can't fool with him, man.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it was a matter of time though.
Is this ironic, or is it that he was just really under the radar because of this recent attention?
Lil Wayne always been on the radar though, bro. When you stop and think about it, man. You know?
No, I'm saying if he didn't do the Trump stuff, are we having this situation, or is it just an ironic situation that was just a circumstance thing?
Well, as a person that's been on the federal investigation before,
long time ago.
This is a long time ago. The feds do an 18-month investigation on every person.
Okay, got you.
So the Lil Wayne, and I actually have a friend that's recently just a couple of friends that recently they got federal charges facing. So they do 18 months investigation on you, right? So Lil Wayne, they must have been following Lil Wayne, tracking him already, and he was already hot as a pistol. So now the gun charges. Now the funny thing is with Lil Wayne, is since like 50 Cent exposed him, like he had to get paid. Is Lil Wayne gonna get a pardon from his president?
You out your mind. That man ain't got enough time. Lil Wayne has been used up already, bro. He just needed 5 minutes from Lil Wayne to do what he's got to do, and that's it, bro. He's not getting a pardon. You know, Trump.
That is an interesting question, because that would be, I guess, a card to play if you could. Are you able to just get pardoned on anything that you've done if you're guilty? I mean, I don't know exactly how that works.
Presidential pardon, he just say, "Boop, sign of a pen, you out, man. Get out of jail free. Doesn't matter what it's for." You know?
Yeah. So, like, go ahead, Kelvin.
No, I just think when I hear about him, and I'm very conscious of this now, because I don't want to be a person that is older than the next generation behind us, and we really kind of decimate their stars and their entertainers. I'm very, very conscious as how we conduct ourselves as Black men, especially entertainers, when we have a platform, right? And I'm not saying we're entertainers, because I know I'm not, but I'm saying our entertainers that have a platform, the way they conduct themselves. I've always seen him to be a person that has been a lightning rod, and it's never really been for positive things. It just always seems like it's the business of confusion. It's always the business of, bad press and things like that. And it lends itself sometimes in music. Sometimes you get more popularity when you go through those things. But I just think it's a bad look. I don't understand the whole gun charge thing and thing. You have the money and the means for security and protection. And for some reason, I don't understand why our entertainers and athletes and stuff always find themselves on this end of the law.
Yeah, you're right. I remember when back in the day was a baseball player named Frank Thomas, big dude. They called him the Big Hurt. Big Hurt would pay $600 a day for security. The security guard said, if I have to break Big Hurt's leg to get him out of trouble, I'm going to do it. So the thing is with these entertainers, those people just become staff. You can write them off on your taxes. It's part of business and billing. If you could pay $150,000 for a chain, you damn sure could pay $150,000 for a doggone bodyguard that's legitimate. Right.
That's real. Out of trouble. That's real. Right. That's real. So,
yeah. So, Rod, can you hear us, Rod?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. Nice and loud and clear, Rod. I appreciate you being back.
Guys, man. I'm sorry about that. I think my wife forgot to pay the Wi-Fi bill. I don't know what happened. Hey, Rod, what I missed?
Hey, people said you had that Teddy Riley Wi-Fi, Rod.
You missed that part.
Yo, I love Black people. We can find humor in every damn thing. And speaking of, like, this is the funny thing. So Jaden Pinkett, I'm not Jaden Pinkett, one of the Smith kids, I don't know which one, Willow, Dildo, one of those kids, right?
I love your sweatshirt, D.
Yo, listen, this guy named this real life brand, they made this for me, man. You know what I'm saying? So I wonder where this guy's a nice guy. He's a friend of mine, good friend of mine. Get it for the low. So the Smith kids, they were saying, like, Black people don't seem like they appreciate him or I guess make fun out of him or whatever like that. So and I think it comes from that. They have a line of privilege. They thinking that they could wear. Black people gonna crack jokes. You're a guy, you wear a dress. That's what we're gonna do. You're a girl, you shave off your eyebrows, whatever. They're gonna make jokes. Yeah. So anybody have any thoughts on?
Wait, so they're saying that the Black community has been making fun of them.
Giving them a hard time, like not being accepted, basically.
Oh, I think that may be true. I mean, as a person in the Black community, I think I'm just kind of a little tired of them in particular. I met their father once, who couldn't have been nicer. And I think he's obviously the most talented person, or the most successful person in the family. I think the mistake may have been trying to get his children into show business. And I think because of that, I don't think the kids are likable. You know what I mean? And I don't think they're relatable. And so I think people probably have picked up on that. And I think that's what you're seeing. And when you're not relatable, especially in our community, there's certain things that you expect. If you ever went to a place and you're the only Black person there and you see another Black person, it almost seems like you have this connection. There's almost like this unwritten rule that you know what I'm saying? Like when I approach a Black man,
and you better give the head nod. You would see a brother be like,
that's what I'm saying. Right. Or a pound or something like that, right? And then when you get in an environment where you see another Black person, and there's actually, because there's a certain soul that we have, or soulfulness, or connection that we think, or at least we feel we have, and you don't have that. I don't think they have that necessarily. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the issues, And
that's the other thing too. When he came out and said, listen, when they came out and decided to put their kids in the show business, all bets is off. You know what I mean? There's no private life. There's no more you can jump in and jump out whenever you feel like it. You're a star. You're a celebrity. And you're a celebrity at an age where you're a little too young to know how to deal with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, you know, and it's going to keep coming. Everybody's got an opinion. They're going to voice it. And now we got this whole social media thing where you can't, you know, you're going to see people's opinions. It used to be when we didn't have it, you know. If someone thought bad about you, you didn't know. But now you know. Now you know what people are thinking. Everybody's telling each other what they're thinking. And you know what people think about you now. So unfortunately, you got to take the good with the bad. And there's plenty of bad, you know. So they have to subject themselves to it.
We say, Rob?
Excuse me for this, but we are talking about Will and Jada's kids, right? Because I know I went off for a minute.
Yeah.
You know, I think I hear what you guys are saying. You know, I definitely agree with a lot of things you're saying. To me, it feels like, you know, when you and your wife are celebrities automatically, I kind of like feel like it's not always the case where you feel like you got to force your kids to be celebrities, because like Derik just finished saying, like they're not conditioned for certain things because they're so young. They're brought up in a very privileged environment. You know what I'm saying? They're probably, you know, very sensitive to criticism and stuff like that. But the issue here was like, are they being accepted? That's what you guys were saying?
Yeah, it's like, so one of them was getting upset because, except from the black community.
They feel like they're not being accepted.
Basically, the black community is hard on them.
Because they're not accepted. Not 100%.
Correct. The thing is, like, you got to understand, like, you know, most people in the black, they can't relate to them. They can't relate to them. They were born rich. They basically were handed entertainment business right out the gate. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, there's white celebrities that do it with their kids as well. But the thing is, like, when you trying to relate to the black community, it's a totally different thing. Like, it's like you can't relate to us because you're not where we're from. You're not dealing with some of the things that we deal with, and you're not poor, or you're not struggling, or you haven't seen like crisis. So far more.
But I think it's more than that. I think it's more than that, and I'll tell you why. Because there are certain people, like, I don't know that people necessarily feel that about Puffy's kids when he gave him a Bentley or whatever like that. I think there's something about them that seems to be, it's more than being pretentious. It just seems like they're and I think it's more than being spoiled. Like, for instance, I remember when they did Pursuit of Happiness, and I guess Jaden was a little boy then, and he did Letterman. And I looked at the interview in Letterman, and he came across like a creep, and he was little. And I think what it was he was trying to be witty or something like that, but he just came across really smug and really kind of like a creep. It just felt like that. And so what happens is when you have parents that people work for your parents, and you know, you're not used to being told no and all those things like that. I think if you're not careful, and if you want to point a finger, you point it at the parents. Yeah. Because if I were rich and I had children, I would make them work at soup kitchens sometimes. I would make them see that everybody doesn't live like that. Let me share a quick story. I grew up in, my parents left Queens in 1974 for Massapequa, Long Island. So I didn't grow up in Queens. I grew up in a very, very safe environment. And I'll never forget this. So one day, my father and I are driving down Hillside Avenue. My father, who was raised in Brooklyn and Queens, we're driving down Hillside Avenue, and we're passing an apartment building. And, you know, a lot of apartment buildings, when they put the garbage out, they put it in front. It's a lot of garbage. It's a lot of apartments. And I never forget, we riding down the street. I'm about 13. And I say to my father, I'm like, how do these people live like this? I said, how do these people, my father almost jammed on brakes and blitzed on me. He's like, what are you talking about, these people? Who are you talking about? And I mean, he blitzed on me. I never forgot it. And he's like, first of all, anything. Exactly. And he's like, first of all, anything that you have it because your parents worked for it. Right. Secondly, you're not better than these people. Don't let me ever find out here. You say these words, these people again, like you better than somebody. And he's like, if you forget you black, you be the only one. And I mean, I was very, very conscious. I never made that mistake again. He humbled me at that moment. It was necessary. Now, if you don't have someone to do that, then I think you wind up in a situation like these kids. Now, I was just a kid and I didn't even realize what I was saying, but I realized how foul it was later when he explained it to me. And so that's what I think you see with his kids. So, you know, because there are people, I mean, Michael Jordan's kids have money. People have money. Their kids are going to have, you know, be beneficiaries of that. But there's something about the way they come across You know what I mean? And I think that's it. I don't think it's just the fame and the celebrity, but sometimes certain people, the way they are in their own skin, some people just creeps, and that's how it seems.
West Philadelphia, born and raised. They forgot about that. I guess they forgot about that part of the song. You know, they not from the hood on that.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, they say.
I guess they didn't have cheesesteak. They was eating cheesesteak. They was eating Grey Poupon with heavy odds.
They didn't have mayonnaise sandwiches.
Yo, real quick, another thing I want to talk about before we bring in our guests and stuff like that is the meltdown. The meltdown of Giuliani. You saw Giuliani, his dive was going all over his head. Now this bastard goddamn COVID-19 and the Trump son
has it. Trump Jr. got
Trump Jr. I think Giuliani is now quarantining himself. I think too. I think he is it
because Giuliani's son has it, or is
somebody. I don't know. Whatever. One of them devils got it. So it's like they all
hit him with the devil.
They come on, Rod. He used to be your boss at one time, so you know he's a devil.
You're right. I did. And the thing is, I knew he was a piece of shit back then.
I know.
So the thing is, none of this is surprising me.
Not at all. Not at all.
You see, he's also painting. Like, there's a couple of press conferences and pictures where he's actually like coloring his face orange, like Trump too. You know, he's putting that little tan lotion on. I don't know. It's crazy. I just can't understand what's going through these people's mind and how you can wake up every day and be so evil and deceptive every day.
And it's what they handpick in certain places. You know, it's like it's attack on black people all the time.
Absolutely.
Like, how dare these niggas
get us out of office? Get us out of office.
You know what I'm saying? How dare they use their vote to get us out? Like, and it's an attack. Like, when you look at Detroit, Atlanta, Philadelphia, like, and they're not even thinking about the people on that same ticket with them that got voted. Right. You know, like it's the BS that's going on, the bullshit that these devils are doing, man. So,
see, I think the worst thing that happened was 9/11 gave Giuliani this kind of like position as America's mayor.
I see Rod ready to talk. But go ahead. Go ahead.
No, let Kelvin bring it in.
Okay, so let me.
I'm gonna finish it.
All right, so let me say, I am whatever you say I am. Now, no, you know what it is. This is what I noticed. So 9/11, and Rod, you could probably speak to this. Mm-hmm. The police became celebrities in New York. New York, the police got a lot of credit for the work that they did, and I thought New Yorkers deserved a lot of credit just across the board, right?
And to a certain degree, the cops and firemen should have got a lot of credit.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Yeah. But what happened was sometimes with any type of success, sometimes you can overplay it. So I would be in Times Square. I see tourists taking pictures with NYPD and things like that. So Giuliani was really, really feeling himself. Now, a lot of people don't realize Giuliani was in the midst of a major marital affair that he was going on. He was in the middle of an affair. He wanted to move his mistress into Gracie Mansion. And the story was about to break like that week, and 9/11 happened. And that just spun the whole thing. All of a sudden, he's the greatest person ever. And to his credit, he led that day. He led greater than George Bush did while he was in the White House. He led New York that day, and he got a lot of credit for that. After that, you saw all the stuff what happened with Bernard Kerik trying to get him in charge of Homeland Security. He winds up in jail and all those things like that. So there was a lot of corruption. There was a lot of fraud that happened. So I think what it did, it gave some people in the NYPD this air of infallibility. And so I think it made people just start to think that we actually could do no wrong. Because remember, Giuliani got to a point where he said, I'm not meeting with black leaders. I'm not meeting with Sharpton. I'm not meeting with none of them. He said that, like, literally. Now, you can't say I'm not meeting with Jewish leaders. You can't say you're not meeting with Italian leaders. So all of a sudden, Giuliani became bigger than life. And so now what he looks like a caricature of himself. He looks like a Saturday Night Live sketch. That's what he really looks like. And it's easy. I mean, because he really looks like a person that has lost it. He looks like a person that is really, really out of his mind, actually.
Hey, my man Brad put me on the game. He said Giuliani getting paid $20,000 a day or a week or something like that.
I believe that.
So some crazy shit.
The thing is, let me tell you something about 9/11, right? This is the thing, and I'm not, like I said, the cops and the fire department, they definitely went in there. They dug, they risked their lives. They were there every day. We were working 12-hour shifts because I was on the job when 9/11 hit. But what what happens with Giuliani is Giuliani was given entirely too much credit for what happened. In every single city, there's something called a crisis plan, right? And I could have been the mayor, and that same crisis plan is implemented when something like this happens. So the thing is, Giuliani and them was smart enough to basically make it seem like they were doing something that no one else could do. In the crisis plan, everything is in there. They basically just make a phone call, implement the crisis plan, and everything just goes into effect. You know, you got everybody coming in from FEMA, the Red Cross, everything just comes in. It's just a phone call. That's all it is. And it just goes into place. They have designated areas where they can have headquarters set up, and they had it like along the West Side Highway. They, you know, they bring in people that do the computer systems, and, you know, the FBI comes in. It's all set and done. But Giuliani and them was smart enough to spin it as though they did all of this. Like, they sat down and say, call these people, call that. It's just implementing the crisis plan. And the other thing, allegedly, what hurt Giuliani too, was that he left his wife doing a press conference when you said he was going through this divorce because he had his mistress. His wife wasn't formally notified by him that they were going through a divorce and that they were breaking up, allegedly. But supposedly he went on a press conference and basically announced that he was, you know, he was getting a divorce and he was leaving somebody else. And then he went through this thing with his kids, and his kids weren't speaking to him and all of this stuff. So, you know, a lot of that stuff hurt him too. Like, his personal life hurt him. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But Giuliani got too much credit for 9/11 than he deserved.
And he overplayed it. I mean, at the end of the day, right now, if you remember, I can tell you when he ran for president, remember they kept thinking, oh, when he gets to Florida, that's Rudy country and stuff like that. And he got washed when he ran for president.
He had no chance. And if you ever noticed too, his personal life kept getting brought up in every scenario when he was having, you know, debates and speeches and stuff like that. So, you know,
the one that was worse, you remember the one guy said you only got two answers, yes, no, and 9/11?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. There you go. Yes, no, and 9/11. Politically, they pushed 9/11 for political purposes because they wanted to build his future. The reason why he's hanging on to Trump so hard now is because his political career is over. His career is over, period. This is all he has. You know what I'm saying? So he's just holding on to Trump's coattails for dear life. This is all he has. Because let's face the facts. After this is all said and done, Giuliani wouldn't be able to get elected dog catcher anyway. Right. You know what I mean? And that's just it in sum and substance.
Yeah, right. and Julie, and people fail to realize, like, when people that's not from New York, 9/11 was only 3 blocks.
Yeah, it was 3 blocks.
It's major, but it was major. No, I'm not downplaying everything. I lost friends in it and then stuff like that. You know, Rod, you had to go down there and work that detail. So I was making sure that you don't be sick, anything like that. But it was 3 blocks. It was 3 blocks. I just want to tell people that, like, you know, that's 3 blocks.
It was actually was a little bit. The buildings took out around 3 blocks worth of damage, but the debris it spread it longer than that. Yeah, but the thing is, I'm gonna tell you right now. I remember the first time I went down to 9/11 after it happened. The devastation was unbelievable. I never saw anything like that in my life. It was horrible. It was truly horrible. And then the thing is to see people that have, you know, lost their lives. It just was not a pretty sight at all. Horrible.
But I'll say this. There was a resiliency with all New Yorkers. You saw people walking people across the Brooklyn Bridge, and you saw people helping people. You know, the city came together, which is something that we do. You know, not only as New Yorkers but Americans. I think just the human spirit. People do that when something happens. Now, don't get me wrong. We'll knock you over to try to catch a subway. But at the end of the day, when something happens foul, you know, people will stand up together. And I mean, and again, I give credit to NYPD and FDNY and everybody else, EMTs, everybody, you know what I mean? But I was just saying, you're right. He did try to take a lot of the credit. The bottom line was I didn't like him since he ran against Dinkins. I thought he got a lot of credit for the rejuvenation of the economic plans in New York, even with Times Square. He got a lot of credit with that. And I think Dinkins did put some of that into motion earlier. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Dinkins was a great mayor. I don't think he was, but I do think he totally was overshadowed by Giuliani, who was labeled as this DA and this crime fighter. and how he got in, and all of a sudden he was given credit for rejuvenating Times Square and cleaning up. Remember, we were in a recession in 91. Bill Clinton comes in office 92. You have the .coms in the 90s. You have, Simi Valley, all those things came. So a lot of money came in. The New York Rangers won the Stanley Cup and all these different things like that. So money started coming back. There was the city started coming back alive, and I think he not only got a lot of credit, I think he solicited a lot of credit for that.
And Kelvin, one thing you left out was the Knicks were doing good then.
The Knicks were doing good. They were in the finals, right? They were in the finals, so that's why people thought the world was ending. First of all, you know what I'm saying? And so
Giuliani was a funny dude, though. Remember when before he was going to leave, Bloomberg came in and he was like, "Oh, they was trying to hang out for a little while after 9/11 because we needed a little extra." Bloomberg was like, "Nah, I got this. Get on up out of here, man." I remember those days, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So listen, man. Listen, I think we got a sponsor back, yo.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Rob, can you bring us?
Dude, we got a sponsor coming. We got a sponsor that came back. Literally, I had to beg and plead the sponsor to come back, and they did. So that was a struggle, but I'm just thank God that they came back, man. And I got one other question before I introduce the sponsor.
Go ahead.
Kelvin, what club is open? Is that your club shirt you got on?
What club is open? You know what? Let me say this. It's laundry day, all right? Like, this is the thing I'm gonna say. On the real, I want some of the ladies in the comments to let me know, is this shirt foul? Because I can't tell. I'm looking at the lighting. You know what this is? I'm gonna tell you what this is. This is a Gordon Guttrell from the Cosby Show. Y'all don't know that. That's what I'm just letting y'all know. I'm bringing it back.
He took it back.
That's what I'm bringing back. So I'm letting y'all know.
It's a nice shirt.
Oh man.
But we got our sponsor. Like I said, New Life Sea Moss has decided to come back and give us another shot. So here we go with one of our sponsors, New Life Sea Moss.
All right. Thank you, New Life Sea Moss.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Get your New Life Sea Moss. We got this COVID running rapid. We need to boost our immune system. They got 4 different flavors. So reach out to them and follow them on Instagram.
All right, appreciate that.
Man.
So, all
right. First of all, somebody said that's the Choir Boy shirt. Secondly, I did see like 4 people wearing that shirt in that commercial. So I got to admit,
yo, they said it brings out your cheeks.
This is the last time this shirt will be worn on these airwaves. I want y'all to know that.
I'm like, yo, what club is open during COVID? Where's Kelvin coming from?
It's like a mob of few.
No, seriously, it brings out your eyes. It brings out your eyes.
I was trying to coordinate, brother. I was trying to coordinate.
So brothers, this week, man, we saw the NBA draft, right? And we saw a lot of young men, change their family lives. They will, get millions of dollars, become overnight celebrities and stuff like that. But to get to the NBA, they had to go through college. And my thing is, what for you got a lot of kids going to college, and I know a lot of people say, "Oh, these kids they go to college, get this free education, and blah blah blah." And we also have with the NFL too, and a lot of these colleges make billions and billions and billions of dollars. I wouldn't say billions, I'll say millions. I'll take the back to B. You know, and so what are your thoughts on that before we bring in our next guest that has a lot to say about that?
What, as far as the money that's being made in sports today?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's great. I think it's big business, and I just think that there has to be obviously financial literacy that comes with it. A lot of the leagues implement some things in place because you don't want to see. I mean, there's a lot of NBA players that have lost that money because people don't necessarily teach them about the people in the family that family that you don't know that's going to show up, and everybody's going to have a need. Everybody cannot handle that level of attention that's going to come. So I think it's great that the television revenues have trickled to the players and things because they are the reason we watch. But at the same time, there's a lot of responsibility with that.
Yeah, I get that. That's when they're on the pro level, but on the college level.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the college level. I think they're being exploited. I think they're just being exploited. I mean, especially the NCAA, they're known for it.
Yeah, they wicked. So our next guest, right? He played on the college level for 2 Division I school basketball teams. Now, this might be the only person still to this day that I know of that never played a game of high school basketball. He played at Syracuse and St. John's University and walked
SJU.
SJU, baby. That was back then. They were the red men when they were real racist.
That's right.
Now they're the red storm.
Yeah. It ain't been nothing to look at since.
You know what I'm saying? Nothing to look at. With further ado, producer Jamie, can you bring in Brad Small, please?
What's up, fellas?
Hey, Brad, how you
doing?
Brad, what's going on, brother?
Before I share pleasantries, I will also want to bring up I was one of the last Orange men too before they got pulled.
Wow.
Oh, wow, that's true.
Wow.
That's true. That's right. That's right, Brad. So you got a little history.
So that was around the time with Derek Coleman, right?
Yeah, he was larger than life up there. But
yes, he was.
Before I even get into it, man, I'm really happy to be here. It's just nice to have a forum.
Appreciate you, Brad. Appreciate that.
I'm not gonna bring it up, but I mean, you got 5 bald men here, so there's not a lot of barbershop.
Yeah.
So I really miss this, and any opportunity to learn and think outside myself, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
you don't need hair to chop it up. You just don't need
yeah.
That is not a requirement.
Requirement got to have a bald head or close to it. Kelvin still got a little bit shade.
Just a little shadow, a little taste.
Yeah.
So I couldn't see it though. The shirt was reflecting. I couldn't see it.
Thank you, D. D, you just served it right up for him, D. Thank you, D.
No, but really, so Brad, I want to get your thoughts because you came on to play college basketball. When to me, when college basketball, that was the last era of its peak when it was really to me off the hook good. You had more rivalries back then and stuff like that, and you have seen a lot and stuff like that. Yeah, so, with that said, how do you feel about when people say college basketball players should get paid, and some people saying, "Oh, they get a free education. They should be happy with that."
Oh man, that's a loaded question. In preparing for this, I had a presentation, fireworks, animation. I was ready to go on this, but it's funny when I was younger and people would say, "Oh man, they just on a plantation," and I would be like, "I mean, plantation? These kids are going to school. They're getting on TV, and they're the big men on campus." When you think about it, they bring so much value, and they make so many other people rich.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, very comfortably wealthy, and that's the kind of the injustice. I mean, I did put together a few numbers, so bear with me. March Madness in 2019, it brought in $933 million.
Wow.
And then the bowl season in 2018, the participating schools, they shared a profit of about $450 million. And then on the NCAA's balance sheet on the income statement, actually, after the money went to the schools, they generated a revenue of $1.1 billion. That's after the money was distributed to the school. So there's so much going on. And where does it come from? It comes from kids who Their parents are taking them to camps. Kids who are spending all their extra time at the park, all their times in high school practices and AAU tournaments. They're generating value, and they're being rewarded with something that is valuable. These days, a $200,000 scholarship, which is annual, has to be renewed every year. But it's almost like,
and you have to maintain a certain average too, right, Brad?
What's that?
You have to also maintain a certain average to keep that scholarship ongoing,
well,
right?
The thing is, you got to maintain the average, and you got to maintain your performance.
Okay.
You got to play for that next year's scholarship.
Okay.
In a lot of cases.
And your performance, your performance help make sure the coach keeps his job.
Exactly. And when I say the time value of money, because we're basically giving you $200,000 that will be worth something after 4 or 5 years. Meanwhile, all this money is flowing, cash is flowing, and cash now is worth more than cash tomorrow. And their administrators are getting that. So that's why I get so passionate about it. Talk with my hands, because I mean,
it's all right. It's all right.
It's an injustice, you know.
Yeah, no, that's real, because like to me it's like it's a book called The $1 Million Niggas, right? Something like that. Like that's what you basically are. Like you like I've had a little cheap little bullshit a baseball scholarship. I remember the athletic director and the coach pulled me in because I had an attitude problem. If anybody know me back then, I was long time ago.
Not you.
So that sat me and they said, listen, you're going to have to compete for your scholarship the next year. I was like, and you know me back then, I walked off. So, with that, so Brad, when people say that kids should be happy to get a stipend and stuff like that, what does that really look like when there's a stipend? And then also, I want you to break down how did it look when y'all went to celebrate dinners and stuff like that. I want you to let people understand what went down in those rooms.
Stipends are basically spending money. It's pocket money. And some schools don't give stipends. But if you're in one of the bigger conferences, and for the most of the conversation, I'm focusing on football and basketball because they basically subsidize the other sports, and they subsidize the schools for that matter. So those two sports. Obviously basketball players are more, you get to know them more because they're not covered in equipment and stuff. But football is the real driver. But back to your question about like stipends, it's really just pocket money because you're really not allowed to benefit in any other way. I think they just want a case where you can benefit off your likeness, but for years, you really couldn't even have pocket money. So it helps. It makes you. I mean, how would that a college student, a few $100, man, you the man. But in terms of the value you bring, I mean, you're a marketing tool for the school. People come. I'm sure a lot of people went to Syracuse because of Derik Coleman. Just seeing him, just seeing that dome on Sunday mornings, like back in the good old days. I
brought shirts because of him. What I'm saying? I bought paraphernalia for the athlete with their name on it. That they probably didn't get a dime from the damn.
They
jersey.
Don't get a dime for the jerseys. And they
Hoya sneakers. I mean, who all thought that Georgetown was a black school because John Thompson?
I did. I did.
I thought it was a black school. I did. And then I went. Remember back in the day, they had a big college book before the internet, and I looked on. They said 1% black people.
Yeah,
I was blown away. They were just going to 1%.
That's the football team. I mean, that's the basketball team. Is that 1%?
Well, let me ask you this question. Yeah. Brad, let me ask you this question. We know, I think it's maybe 1% that actually make it to the NBA or make it to the pro level out of, I think, Division I schools. What should the goal be? What plan or what advice would you give to a person that has the talent to play Division I basketball? How should their approach be? What should their objective be?
Well, basketball and football are different. I think basketball, now schools are catering to the player to accept that one and done model. Hey, we know this kid is going to has his aspirations for the pros. Let's make it the greatest 1 year for our program. And if we change our business model, we can benefit off it. We can change our expectations. We won't have those 3-4 year expectations.
Oh, Brad froze.
So we can get them out of Devin Booker, Bam Adebayo, Kentucky. Like really the master of this is John Calipari in Kentucky.
Yeah.
He said, you know what? I get my place. Hey, Anthony Davis, come here and talk and tell him what we do. DeMarcus Cousins, come here, tell him what we do here.
Yeah.
And then he gets those. He became part. He adapted to the system. Even Mike Krzyzewski did to a certain point because back in the day, Elton Brand, I mean, he basically spit on the Bible by leaving Duke early. He got letters, or students wrote letters to him saying, "How dare you basically mess up my experience here by leaving our institution?" He's like, "Man, I'm about to go be rich." Yeah. That's how athletes are viewed. Again, I can't stress enough how much value we bring that's not rewarded in immediate payment in cash.
Right.
And then also certain things. Like Brad, remember we were talking back, and you came into the gym one time with some different sneakers. Can you tell about that? What happened when you came in with different sneakers, or outfit, or something like that?
No, it was sneakers. Well, I was a walk-on on both teams, so I would go to the games early, get dressed, and go put up some shots. That was me playing, on the court, on the court that was about to be on TV on the network. That was me. I was doing the countdown shots from the corner and buzzer beaters in my little practice time. So I went in early, got dressed, got my ankles taped up and everything. And I heard that Jim Nance was out, getting ready for the broadcast. Jim Nance, Billy Packer. So I was like, "Oh man, I want to see Jim Nance." And shortly before that, I had bought some Asics because they were orange and blue. Feeling college colors, and I was rocking those to class. So I threw on my Asics because they happened to match, my shooting stuff, my shooting gear. Mm-hmm. Wanted to rush out to see, "Hey, Mr. Nance, hey, I'm a big fan. Just wanted to shake hands, bucket list type stuff for me." Mm-hmm. Came back in the locker room, one of my teammates is like, "Maybe I take those shoes off. We at Nike school, man. You can't be seen with that." Like, it was just, I didn't know how much of a business relationship we had with Hip Apparel and Nike sneakers. So you better not be seen wearing some Asics just because they match. But I guess that's a New York thing. We just match.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Brad? What you saying that I'm a St. John's University grad.
Okay.
And so there was a time when St. John's, when Brand Jordan was making St. John's gear.
I think that was Felipe era, I believe.
Right, exactly. Artest, Felipe, Zendon Hamilton. Mm-hmm. And so what happened was we started finding out that there were Reebok schools. So then it started to be a thing where people were trying to certain agents were trying to steer kids to a Nike school, and others were trying to steer them to a Reebok school. And I think that's when it just became a big issue across the board. And I don't think Jordan makes it anymore, and I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I look at a program like St. John's, who was in the rare position where there was no dorms at the time, and they lived all off campus, and then they were able to get a housing allowance. Mm-hmm. And so that was almost like a way, there was an incentive to go to St. John's in that regard, because you were actually paid. And I think the kids stayed in Jamaica Estates or somewhere in Hollis Hills or something like that.
I stayed with them a lot of the time, and not too far away, about 10 minutes away from the campus. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But I have to ask you this, and this is veering off a little path, just a personal thing with St. John's. Yeah. We can't keep talent in New York anymore. The school, definitely, it used to be a big deal to play at the Garden. It's not anymore, I think, because everybody's on TV. But what is there ever a chance that St. John's can come back?
I'm going to answer that after Brad talk. I'm going to tell you one of the reasons why St. John's fell off on that.
It's tough because of the high school 1 year, 2 year, go to the pro model. And really social media, and just the world used to be small. I mean, I think we kind of take it for granted. I think, when did Facebook really take off? About 2006, 2007?
Somewhere like that.
Twitter
right after MySpace.
Exactly. And the world was small before then. So, to hear about big names, and even the media has become, it's funny.
Pause.
Not to go from too much of a tangent, debate, or a lot of, there's more sports reporting than actually is sports, which is funny to me, because now with high def TVs and a whole bunch of cable channels, we can see what's going on. We don't need it to be reported to us. And I think it kind of parallels your question, because now we can see all these prospects. We get a little background information. We get information about the schools. We have information overload. So now it's not just risque to go to what St. John is about. You can find out online and find out it's kind of a commuter school. I just think we have more information. It's just not the biggest deal in the world anymore.
Yeah. Wow. One of my friends is Walter Berry. They went to St. John's, the Truth, right? So
shout out to Walter Berry.
Shout out to Walter Berry, good dude.
That's right.
So what he told me before, what the difference was with one of the downfalls of when St. John's kids from New York going to St. John's was when they got the dormitories.
Correct.
So he said before the dormitories came, St. John's would give the family some money to pay their rent. So it was like for the kids to stay here, commute every day. So once they got the dorms, they didn't get the family rent. So the family's like, yo, Tennessee's giving a check.
Correct.
Or Tennessee's, whatever, Miami's doing this, then the third. So, so the kids was like, they bounce out. Like Brad said, also, the world got smaller. I mean, because everybody got information to find out I go to this school, whatever. And like you said to me, not dissing you, Kelvin, and you St. John's graduates and all that stuff, and my goddaughter. But it's like a high price community school now.
Well, you know what? I think that's very, very fair. I think one of the things is this: you can go to Kentucky or one of those other places. People don't know Chris Mullen had a chance to go to Duke and decided to stay and play, in New York. But this is the issue: you go to one of those places in the South where they don't have. New York is not a college town. New York has 9 pro teams, and so you go to Kentucky, the whole city operates based on that campus and that school. St. John's is a very small campus, and it would take. You know what? I'm gonna tell you what I think hurt us. We thought at the time Felipe Lopez was what was gonna be what LeBron James is. We thought Felipe Lopez, when he took off that thing and showed that Indian thing, and he was gonna go to St. John's. We thought this is it. He was the #1 in the country and stuff like that. And you know what happened? Felipe got exposed. Felipe was not what we thought he was going to be, and I think that hurt us.
He's a good dude. Felipe's a good dude. Like I said,
people don't watch good dudes. People want to see some buckets.
The good dude don't cut it in the pros, though.
Yeah, true. So
Brad, a hype job.
So Brad, I got a question for you, right? So some people argue, and say, when we say college athletes should get paid, right? So you got the basketball team. You know how much money basketball generates in football. So they say, what do we do with the tennis player? What do we do with the basketball? I mean, the golf player or the baseball? Because you and I have a very good friend in Milton. His son is about to go. I think his son's probably going to go to one of the top D1 baseball schools soon. So what do we do with those players and stuff like
that? Again, I think it's hard because again, the football and basketball programs do subsidize other sports. I think each institution had to do an assessment of how to distribute the money, but. I think they're using that as an excuse not to pay. So, hey, we can't figure it out, so we're not going to pay anybody.
So, you're right, because the school, the resources, how much resources the school get from sports? They get labs, all kind of stuff built from the.
Yeah,
athlete.
I mean,
correct.
I wrote down it's kind of a cycle, like a self-sustaining cycle. So you get that money, and the money comes from TV contracts, advertisements. Corporate sponsorships, and a little bit of ticket money. You get all that money, it comes in, you get improved facilities, you get improved staff, IT infrastructure, improved marketing programs just for your school, marketing budgets, improved curriculum. Then you attract students based on the curriculum. You develop corporate sponsorships. So with that curriculum and those corporate sponsorships, now you have a recruiting path for all these new graduates. They go out and get good jobs, and the alumni gives it back. And then it keeps going. I still get, just today, I get emails from St. John's. I think annually I get an email for like a golf tournament and come see Luke on a second, Chris Mullen, spend about $1,500 for a golf weekend, things like that. Mm-hmm. Wow. Once you start generating that money and it starts to become this self-sustaining cycle, then it's almost like you started the car and now the motor's running by itself. Mm-hmm. I would love to see some people make the decision and put all that energy into HBCUs.
I want to bring that up. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Talk on it.
Just because it's almost like HBCUs are going the way of the Negro leagues. Once integration was allowed, it kind of diluted the talent in the league.
I always say Jackie Robinson destroyed the Negro League, but that's another subject. I know a lot of people got mad at me on that, but I'll explain that later.
But it's true though, D. It's true.
It's true, and somebody would have done it if not him. It's just, It's a shame though, because at a time when we're really looking for, I just have a philosophy about us as a people. I think more so than any other group of people, we suffer from a low group. And when I say that, I mean, like, we have high self-esteem. Each one of us can, do what we have to do, even when we're going through tough times, and try to dig out the mud and we're trying to make it. But as a group, we're easy to say, man, I'm doing what I can. I don't know about that nigga over there. I don't think we have a collective home because we don't share anything because so much of our history was stolen. So we're trying to just find our way. Mm-hmm. And I'm not mad, because when you're surviving, you kind of do what you have to do. How much extra energy do you have to be a brother to your brother? So when I see an institution like an HBCU, about like what the Black church used to be, and I see missed opportunities, it's really upsetting, because those are some things that we can finally find some common ground and really kind of call ourselves community. Community is sharing something. So honestly, I wish they would take all that value that they're giving to all of these majority schools and these majority coaches and give that to the HBCU family, so we can kind of get our motor started and have it self-sustaining.
I got one more. I got another question for you, Brad. Not one more.
Yeah.
Because so how big do you think it would be if LeBron James' son went to HBCU? That
was one of my big presentation for fireworks. That was like one of the solutions. Like it would take somebody like him who can afford to take the loss of his kid grabbing that brass ring. I tell you, like Denzel, his son went to Morehouse, played football. He was a beast. Then he tried out for the NFL, couldn't make it, went to acting. They could afford to take that L. I hate to count somebody else's money or say what they can afford to not, do, but it takes celebrity. Son coming up. You got to. Most of these guys have sons who are following in their footsteps. I mean, Kenyon Martin, Dennis Rodman, Carmelo's got a young son. If a few of them would that'd be an opportunity. And I would recommend anybody who has a school-age kid looking for college, at least consider an HBCU. Again, for that sense of community, and for another very important reason. I think sometimes being detached from the majority world, we associate success with whiteness. When you go to a Black school and you're rough around the edges kid, you got to stay in those registration lines. You got to, do some work. You got to learn how to balance that partying and all the fun and all the girls and all the other stuff, and guys for the girls. And you got to do it. And sometimes you got to make it work. And over those 4 or 5 years, you grow up and you become successful, and you realize success isn't just a white thing. I had to be successful here to get out. I think right now, being so detached and being isolated in our tribes, too many of us think that, professionalism equals whiteness, success equals whiteness. Nah, it happens in the Black community too.
So excellent point.
They don't want to go HBCUs. They want to go somewhere where they can get a white woman on their arm.
No.
I mean, ain't no white women there.
You got a few there. They got that certain haircut and everything. The white girls with the certain. They dig the Black guys. They got a certain kind of haircut and stuff like that.
Well, you know what I think. I think you make a good point. I think you make a good point, because one of the big complaints about historically Black colleges is lack of resources. And I think if we could funnel some resources, you leverage what you can have. I always said if a white person could do the job LeBron James could do, LeBron wouldn't have a job. What it is people control what they can control. That's why we're not dominating on Wall Street and other places. We're not given the same opportunity. But athletically, since we are the primary, athletes, I think we should leverage those situations. Now, I made the mistake of going to Virginia Union University.
Hey, my man, don't say nothing bad. My man Milton's in the chat. He might get on you. Go ahead, talk about
Charles Oakley come in and slap you too.
Charles Oakley will. That's the truth. I'm trying to tell you, Charles Oakley slap you, just see how you react. And that's the truth. But I'll tell you what it is this. I didn't do the work in high school. So in other words, I had Morehouse ambition and I had Virginia Union grades. And so as a result, I think what you have to do is we've got to put more stock into working just as hard academically as we do athletically. I think that's one of the things, and kids are always looking for a way out. I like what you said, Brad. We kind of have to redefine what success is. That's the issue. People think it's the car and they think it's the house and they think it's the attractive woman or whatever like that. If you don't have esteem, and you don't have esteem and you're not grounded, you're going to constantly be running after your own tail because you'll never be fulfilled. And I think that's one of the big issues.
Yeah. So go ahead, Brad.
No, you got
it. No, I was going to ask you. So do you think with Deion Sanders now being the head coach of a historical Black college football team, do you think that would make a change for kids to start giving it a chance? Because like you said, if we fund our talents to the historical Black colleges, the resources would be endless. How it would be?
I want to believe that that's the reason he did it. I have to I want to keep believing that he'll stay there and this won't be a stepping stone to something else. I want to believe that with Deion. I wanted to believe that the effort is 100% benevolent in nature. Because things like that, because if he leaves or makes it a pit stop, it'll set the program back. Things like that, things like a LeBron sending Bronny there, and unfortunately, you know, our people, I love them. Sometimes they like to be entertained instead of empowered and informed. It's not.
So Brad,
take
you feel Deion Sanders went there just as a stepping stone, to go get a coaching job in the pros?
No, I maybe I'm being a little unfair. You know, Deion's prime time.
Yeah.
I hope this is a long-term move.
Yeah.
Oh, what happened?
Yeah.
Am I frozen?
Yeah.
It just sounds like it's a remix.
Yeah, what's going on here? What is going on? Producer Jamie, can you help us out? Is everyone hearing this?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear it. I can hear it. I thought it was somebody doing a record.
I thought I made
Rod, are you frozen, Rod?
Yeah.
We can't hear Rod. Derek, can't hear Derek either.
Maybe Rod sign off for a second.
I don't know what's going on. All right, it's just me and Brad. Okay, cool.
You just sound like you had a hit record there today. That's the hook.
that was kind of ill.
That's that black card you were talking about, man.
I think it's Rod. I think it's Rod's Wi-Fi again. He really do have that Teddy Riley.
You got that Teddy Riley, man. That Teddy Riley got him.
I thought my point was so dope. But no,
well, go ahead, Brad. Go ahead. You saying something, Brad?
I'm just a little. I'm probably unfairly skeptical because Deion is prime time. But if he puts in 10 years, that'll make a big difference. That'll attract people there. That'll give the school itself some exposure and experience. Right now, a lot of HBCUs are known for their bands instead of their sports.
Yeah.
So if he can put this, if he can help with this,
I never go to the game. I only go to halftime show and leave.
That's all you need, man.
I mean, really, the man is just trying to make a point that we got to stop that.
I know we got to stop. I'm guilty.
But you know what helped? I gotta admit, when you saw School Days and a different world, it really, really helped. And now I don't think, because I have to admit, and I think Dee mentioned this before, I didn't know about historically black colleges until School Days and until a different world.
That's very common for us up north. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't know it wasn't spoken on. We didn't know too much about the HBCUs. So that's real.
Yeah. And most of your schools, they kind of make that southeastern corner. In North Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, and Texas. There are a few sprinkled out, but it's really that kind of lower right corner of the country. I just wanted to make two points, if you allow me.
Go ahead.
In terms of the money that's flowing. And this is a this is a negative view of the money. And back
Rod. Rod having all type of issues today, man. Go ahead.
Wow.
I just read the news. Under Armour just bought out of a $50 million contract with University of Cincinnati. Probably post-COVID. Probably things weren't popping off the way they wanted it to. They paid over $9 million to buy out a $50 million contract.
Wow.
That was the third one, like 6 months. They had they just bought out of a $280 million contract with UCLA, a 15-year contract. They just bought out of an $86 million contract with UC Berkeley. Like, look at all of this, millions of dollars from the value we bring. Now, black people make up about 55 to 60% of both college football and college basketball. Those numbers go to 70, 75% when you get to the pros. But look how much money we bring and how much other people who are not playing, who are not sweating, who are not practicing.
Right.
And they're just splitting hundreds of millions of dollars. Gets me going. And the last thing was, like I said, what would you do with your son? Doing the right thing for the people, for the cause, it's not glamorous. Ask Cap. Ask Ali. Ali didn't get famous till he couldn't speak anymore.
Yeah, damn shame.
And what's really bad, Brad, was really bad also is I remember taking, I think my nephew or somebody to, check out Morehouse. and like white kids are playing baseball. So the teams, they'll give white kids scholarships at the historically black colleges. And white kids are down there playing certain sports that we won't play. And they're the minority at those historically black colleges. So therefore they're getting the full rides.
You know, thank God, one of my close friends, my sister, her son is going to Morehouse to play baseball, and he's a little light skinned, but
hey, leave my godson alone, man. He little white eyes and everything, let me say down south, he a little red boy, a little yellow. But
Brad, I gotta ask you this, and I don't want to bury the lead here. Brad, I gotta ask you this. I think it is amazing for anybody, as Dee said in the introduction, to play D1 ball who did not play high school ball. Tell me how you did that.
Well, anybody who knows me, most people ask me, you know, walking around, if I didn't have a ball in my hand, they say, "Hey, where's your girlfriend, Spalding?" I spent most of my time in the park, and I got in fights. I played, and it's funny thing, it was so many great players who just, the system wasn't for them, school wasn't for them. Right. So I learned from them. There's one particular guy, everybody in the world hates him. A guy named Junior, run his mouth. But he taught me how to go hard, how to play hard. We actually wrote in spray paint, go hard. Go hard in the paint on our court. So now when I'm in school, and I got into school on my own merits, but after March Madness, you know, players would come into the gym and play pickup. So if they need a few people, boom, I join in. I come in one day, and I'm the starting point guard. I'm giving him the business just because I'm really not scared of him. I came up South Jamaica. I'm a New York City point guard. I can't shoot. I can dribble and pass, or I could, you know. But I just ain't no punk. I wasn't scared of him. So just to keep up, I mean, I can remember Billy Owens would give me the ball to take it out, I'd dribble, and then throw him alley-oop on the other end. It just showed I could play in their speed. So I became, you know, I got the best seat in the house during the season. I got to travel, got a little bit of money here and there. And again, on the money, I mean, from like the NIT preseason tournament, things like that, we used to get watches. Again, they would tempt us with trinkets. And I say us loosely because, again, I wasn't blue chip. I wasn't in the system. But they used to have the ACC Big East Challenge. One year they gave us cordless phones, which today would be an iPhone back then. Right. One year when I was at St. John's, the same Big East ACC Challenge, the sponsors gave us little remote control color TVs. Like they would give us they would shower us with trinkets and they would give us the feeling of being rich, but without the actual cash.
What is it like being a New York City product, walking to Madison Square Garden on that court, being surrounded by those seats at MSG?
It's a little intimidating. It's got to the Garden. I was so tired because the season was. I can remember trying to shoot an NBA 3-pointer and I couldn't because my legs were gone from a season's worth of practice, and being 5'10" on a good day, I was furthest away from the rim. And it's funny because we take, you know, shoot-arounds pregame, right? You see both teams shooting around. In my mind, all right, I'm gonna get some shots up too. I remember coaches yelling at me, "You better go in there and rebound and basically warm up the starters, catch their errant balls and kick it back to them. That's what you're here for. Biggest seat in the house, the best seat in the house." It was an amazing time. It like anything else. I wish I knew then what I knew now. In terms of the opportunity to, you know, just making the most of everything that came. But it really just, I just played. I was very athletic, and all of my closest friends were athletic. So, you know, just being in New York.
Hey, I wasn't always fat. Tell him, right?
He actually was. He was fast. He was fast. I remember we had a few foot races. Like our other best friend, Katori, he was like the second
fastest in New York State,
fastest person in New York. You know, so again, some people just made it through. Unfortunately, man, that's why I love our people, because we got to do so much just to make it through. And that was just my particular journey.
Yeah.
Wow.
And one day a bully was trying to beat me up, and I hit him in the nose with my basketball, and I got him off. So, I had a special relationship with a basketball.
So Brad, we got to get out of the next thing. But one last question for you though. If you had you've had a blue chip son, what would you do? What would you tell him?
Whew. And it really comes down to the parents' decision, because to show a kid all that all of what he would be getting in a opportunity. I would like to think that I had self-awareness, and I would teach my son or daughter a good amount of self-awareness. I would try to get a gauge of if he wants to be a basketball player or a football player. Does he want to be an engineer? Does he want to be an architect? Does he want to be a doctor? And again, I would put it in my consideration set, HBCUs. And I would, instead of just having a blanket decision to only choose HBCUs, I give it a perfect example. There's a sophomore named Mikey Williams. He's like the #1 sophomore in the nation. Class of 2023. He's got 5 majority schools on his finalist list and 5 HBCUs. I think his mother played softball for Hampton. So I think that's the best you can do. Put all of the possibles into the consideration set and then make the best decision. And again, being that martyr is tough. So that's what kind of slowed me down in terms of putting this big presentation. Because at the end of the day, man, I can't tell you what to do when you're possibly looking at generational wealth and the path to it. But man, throw some HBCUs in there and see what the program has to offer. You know, the best thing you can do is be open-minded. Right. I think HBCUs kind of get pushed to the side, especially people like Wendy Williams talking, running their mouth.
Oh gosh,
that's a whole nother subject.
I got you.
That's a whole nother. Yo, Brad, man.
Content, brothers.
Nah, Brad, listen, man. Truly appreciate you, man. Your insight on a lot of stuff, man. The history of the St. John's and Syracuse stuff, man. I truly appreciate you, brother, man. I love you, man. And hope your knees get better so you can play in the 50 and older league.
Man. Hey, your brothers are doing a good thing, man. Just creating a forum for just regular talk.
Yeah, man.
Just like that success. Regular conversation. Sure, that's normal. That's not just a white thing. This is normal, man. Exactly. Intelligent brothers with some experience who, you know, have wisened up from things they did a long time ago.
A long time ago.
You know? A long time ago. It's a good thing y'all doing, man. And I'm keep watching every Saturday. You know.
All right, man. Appreciate it, man. Love you, Brad.
Thank you, Brad. Take it easy, man. Take it easy.
Peace. Be safe, brother.
Peace.
All right. Yo, we got Rod back.
What's going on, Teddy Riley?
Is he frozen?
Yo.
First cousin.
Yo, man.
Yo, Rod, I don't think you need with your Teddy Riley.
You can't buy Wi-Fi off the street. I keep telling my wife.
Oh man, your sound, we can't hear you now. Now we can't get your sound better.
Oh, you can't hear me?
You need your mic. You
man.
low, you low. Yo, Rod, one thing you needed that dude dancing that Teddy Riley for you, man. That's what you need.
That black.
Can you hear me now?
This what you get with that black card, man. You talking about, man.
I'm just glad it's not me this week. I'm glad it's not me this week. Rod helped me out this week.
Oh man, yeah, that's good. So Rod, can you? Yeah, we can hear you, but you're a little low. But I think you're loud enough that we could bring in our sponsor again. I think our sponsor didn't leave us. I don't know with your Wi-Fi. They might have left out and said this bootleg ass show.
I don't know what's going to happen now, but we're going to basically promote the sponsor again.
Okay.
And basically, like I said, COVID is here strong, guys. Get these nutrients in your body so you can fight off it if God forbid you get it. And we're going to bring back New Life CMOS again, guys.
All right.
Feel good.
All right. So cool. So
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, you good now, Rod. You back.
Yeah,
you back.
Good.
All right. Let's do this.
All right.
Then we know,
Good.
Let's do that Teddy Riley real quick. No, but this week, man, they had another. If you guys watch Versus, they had a Versus this week, man, and on this Versus they had Jeezy and Gucci Mane, right? I'm not familiar with Gucci Mane's music. I'm not into that trap music like that. It does nothing for me. But they apparently those two guys had a beef a long time ago. Actually, really, it was a long time. I think it was like 20 years ago. Where I think
a slap fight or something, man.
I think it was a little bit more serious than that. I think Gucci Mane sent one of his hitters over to. I mean, not Gucci Mane. I think Yeezy sent a young man over to shoot to kill Gucci Mane, and I think Gucci Mane wound up killing him. So these two brothers decide somehow, I guess, Timbaland and whatchamacallit got them together to do this verses, and at the end of verses, Gucci Mane kept taking shots at Young Jeezy about the murder and all those other stuff like that. But I like the way a Young Jeezy handled it by just not taking a higher road on that. So I don't know if you guys saw that or you saw any of the memes, anything like that. Anybody?
Yeah, I read about it. You know,
Go ahead, Kelvin.
And I know, 50 Cent had chimed in about it, and some people took it different. I think whenever you can have resolution, it's something about, the high road. I know it's least traveled, but I think it's really, really necessary, and it does show growth. These men are not just MCs. They're usually family men. And, we were there at the start of hip hop, and now hip hop is about 50 years old. And so as a result, the people that have contributed to it or grown up with it, they should be more responsible, because at the end of the day, it's just entertainment. You know what I mean? That's the reality of it. And so when it crosses into somebody getting, shot or, somebody getting killed and things like that, it takes away from it. So if they can handle it responsibly, the versus thing is very interesting because, they've kind of labeled it as a celebration of your catalog, but at the same time, since it says versus, it does look like it's a competition like your opponents. So Busta Rhymes had gone through it with T.I., and they were really kind of chirping back and forth and things like that. But I heard that this went over very, very well, and congratulations to them. And much like yourself, I'm not a fan of Gucci Mane. I really don't know as much about Jeezy either. I was really big on New York rappers growing up, so the Southern thing didn't appeal to me, but it works for people, and salute to them.
Yeah. Brittany Holmes said they had to take a higher road. What is it? Yeah, he tried to have a man killed. What happened with that?
Yeah. So he tried to, for some kind of beef they had. I'm not too familiar exactly what it was, but I think Jeezy's had to try to set him up to get murdered, and I think in self-defense, Gucci Mane wound up killing the young man, and so he made a lot of jokes on him about like your man is dead, from the grave, all kind of stuff like that. So it was real. It was petty, but and Jeezy took the higher road, but he also took shots at him, like the dude wanted to compare jewelry, but then Jeezy said, I own half of Atlanta. So you know what I'm saying. So Gucci Mane still got that hood mentality. I think Jeezy's on a grown man level now, and he's just trying to like, let's figure out how to get this money. Like we both were trying to shoot each other in the street and stuff like that. And now it's over. But with that said, right. So our next guest, right, is this brother I've known, man. This brother is like, he's dear to my heart, man. This was a real street dude, but he changed his life after he was incarcerated, and he went through a lot of trauma and stuff like that. But the thing is, he has a documentary called Killing Beef. It was on Revolt TV. This guy's a jack of all trades also. I'm going to just put that like that. Before I get on, I seen this man during COVID become a dentist, a barber, a physical trainer, a speaker, and world of trades. I don't know what COVID brought the best of. And the one thing I give it to him, the man stayed slim through the whole COVID. I don't gain weight. This man don't look slim any older than me. I don't know how he's doing it, man. But I love this good brother. And one thing with him, he goes around talking to young people how to stop this beef and stuff like that. And the senseless murder. With that said, producer Jamie, can you please bring in my brother Samson Styles?
Introduction.
Hey, how you doing?
What's good, Sam?
What's going on?
What's up, Samson, man? Nah, Samson, you're a jack of all trades, brother, for real, man. Like I seen this brother in his wife's mouth cleaning him out and everything because he couldn't get to the dentist. And this guy, and he kills beef.
He's saving money. He's saving dollars. Yeah.
Oh, man.
He's saving dollars. I hear that.
That's true. Devin got to save that money, man.
Yeah.
Samson, man, over the last this year and also like we've seen a lot of senseless murders. We've seen Pop Smoke killed so young. We just saw this young brother just got set up. I think in Texas something. I'm losing track of his mind right now. My mind. We seen the brother XXXX get murdered. We seen a lot of young dudes get murdered, but also over this senseless to me beefs. And you have a story to tell. And I just want to give a little background on your story, how you and your boy Smoke, if you could let the people know, and then we could go into what you think about what's going on with these young brothers now.
Well, you know, I was in the streets. I was a jack of all trades in the streets too. I, you know, was a stick up dude. Also sold drugs and, you know, just everything except steal cars. You know, so I was in a situation that I had gotten shot up. It was a repercussion from a dude I had stuck up and tied up and left in his house. So some repercussions that came to that from that, and I almost died. And one of the people that shot me, it was two of them that shot me that day. You know, when we finally got together 20 years later, you know, I decided that we needed to squash that beef and talk to these kids, because I was already talking to them already. By this time, I'm at BET. I was a correspondent, so I'm on TV, I'm on the air, and you know, I have a good persona to keep up, and a message that was strong. And the kids was looking at me to show them another way. I wasn't a basketball player. I wasn't, you know, in the sports. I wasn't a rapper. I came home from prison and became a journalist, and wound up on a national network. And
award-winning journalist.
Award-winning journalist.
Man, that's a story right there, brother. That's beautiful, man.
So, you know, I always was going to alternative to incarceration programs, and also to maximum security programs where facilities where juveniles were, and just, you know, giving them some good talk, man. Let them know I've been there, because I did juvenile time. I did 18 months coming up as a juvenile. I started my life of crime at 11, you know, finished it at 36, you know, so most of my life, that's all I knew. But, you know, changed it around and was giving these kids, man, like some inspiration and motivation, and let them know, you know, that you could be other things, man. That street is going to be, it's only two ways you're going to end up, and that's in jail or in prison. I mean, in prison or dead, you know. Mm-hmm. And so when the dude came home from jail, one of the dudes that shot me, you know, to make a long story short, not to give the documentary away, but we wound up teaming up and talking to these juveniles together without letting them know that he was the one that shot me. And it's real interesting, man. We got to film it. We filmed a couple of the locations. It's hard to get clearance to film in all the young prisons with the, you know, with the juveniles and stuff. You have to go through maybe 6 months of processing to be able to make sure you can bring in cameras and put these kids on TV, you know, or on the camera. But it was very effective, man. And that's the thing that matters, is that, you know, they took something away from it. I was going to 106th and Park to go film something one day, and there was a long line of the kids out there. And one of the kids, when I was walking in, he was like, yo, Samson. So, you know, I looked, you know, hey, what's going on, brother? How you doing? He said, nah, you don't remember me, man, but I was in Goshen Detention Center when you came through and spoke. You know, and that's for y'all that don't know, that's the maximum security for juveniles. You know, some of them in there have like 5 to life sentences. You know, as soon as they turn 21, they go into the adult prison, you know. So he said, yo, man, when you came through, man, you know, after speaking to us, I got into some beef. And I thought about what you said, man, and I just was like, you know what, this ain't even worth it, man, because I got to get home. And I was like, you know, if one person, if we did that for that one person, man, it served its purpose.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, this documentary is more than just talking about the causes and effects and solutions to gun violence. It's also getting historical about how gun violence started in our Black communities, and how it's not social, it's not a race thing, that it's a socioeconomic issue. And that when the white people and immigrants, like Irish immigrants, Italian immigrants, Jewish immigrants, occupied these same communities that we occupy now, because when we say, oh, those are our communities, why don't we take back our community? I always say, man, it was never ours to begin with. You know what I'm saying? These communities was ran by the Jews who own most of the property and stuff now. It never left. You know, the Italians and the Irish and people that were there before we migrated from, you know, the Great Migration and migrating from the South to these northern cities because we were being oppressed. And once we got there, you know, white flight happened, and the government helped subsidize these white people to move into the suburbs. and then left us with the crumbs to deal with, you know? So we break down all of that within the documentary as well, so that people get their history lesson and they know that, you know, this is bigger than this individual gun violence, you know, black on black crime or whatever, which I don't like to say, because most of the crime that happens within any community is of the people of that same race. Right. If you go to any Chinatown, guess what? Most of the people that get harmed in China is from Chinese. You know what I'm saying? Most of the people that get, you know, this familiarity that causes this violence to perpetrate.
Most crime is a crime of proximity. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, yeah.
Exactly. So, you know, we break all that down in the doc too. So it's a teaching tool. Rutgers University, the governor, Phil Murphy, he adopted our documentary to be part of a teaching tool for his Center for Gun Violence Research, and it's headed by Rutgers University. So it's we just got another deal with it. Our deal with Revolt is about to end now in December, but we have a new deal with Citagine Distributing, which is going to be a global distribution deal. So we working the ends out of that now, and you know, it just pays to do the right thing, man. It really does. It sounds cliche, but I done did the wrong things long enough, man. and I see doing the right things that's what's up.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question, Samson, and I know this question may get asked. Do you think the war is winnable?
If the war on poverty is winnable, you know what I'm saying? Because if you look at black communities that's prosperous, right? Mm-hmm. Middle class, upper middle class, or, you know, whatever, the violence is low, man. The crime is low. What breeds this is lack of resources, man, lack of money, lack of opportunity. And to keep it real too, it's also the mindset of the community, right? Give you an example. I put up a post the other day from an old, you know, I used to do music and stuff too from back in the days, and I put up something. I had a song that was called, you know, Where I Come From, and I said, Brooklyn, born and raised, been real since the days of Pumas and Flare Lays, pink houses, to the Brownsville PJs with pissy elevators and dirty hallways. And that's an actual fact, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you go in the elevator, not saying all the time, but why is there piss in the middle of the elevator, man? Why you got to step over? Like, all right, you live in a condition, which I was also a part of that at one time, too. I'm not trying to act like I'm holier than thou or better than, but it's like, what's the mindset that perpetuates this type of activity that make you care less about where you have to lay your head at? You know what I'm saying? Right. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's not also, the how society has us, and as far as the ostracism and stuff that society placed on us and how they redline us into one square box. But hey, we can make that square box home, man, and make it peaceful and make it loving, you know. So it's the mindset that we have also, you know, and most of that is because miserable people, man, they know how to spread misery, man, you know, and if we broke and, you know, we don't see no way out, and you take a little bit of bread and put it in this community where there's no bread, cats are going to fight over that bread, you know, for the crumbs. And then when there's no crumbs left, we're looking at each other, ready to eat each other. And that's just the law of nature. And that's what's being, so as far as to break that cycle, man, we need resources. We need a redistributing of direction as far as energy and how we, you know, perceive things in the hood, you know, and it's going to be a lot of work, and a lot of work has to be done by the black man, because it's the young black boys, it's young black men that's killing each other.
Absolutely.
No argument there, brother. You know, no argument there. You said something though that was interesting. You said that you were talking about we live in the areas that was once owned by Jews or Italians and everything. So do you think that maybe it's maybe a lot of our I guess you want to say psychosis almost is pushed towards us needing a place to belong, but not really rectifying it with the fact that where we actually stay was always meant to be a temporary place. You know what I mean?
Right.
So maybe it's not a thing where we rail against gentrification, but maybe we were never meant to stay in that area in the first place. We were always meant to move on to something better in mass. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering if some of the things that we're bumping up against has to do with that previous reality in terms of like what other people and cultures have had to deal with, you know? So
see, I look at it a few ways, right? One thing that I didn't hit on is that these neighborhoods, right? Give Brownsville, for instance, right?
Mhm.
Brownsville is like a 1 square, it's like 1 square mile radius, and and when it was back in the 40s and 30s, and you know, first immigrants and stuff started coming over, right? Brownsville was mainly occupied by Jews and Italians, right? They were very poor. It was very poor living conditions. This is before World War II, right? Very poor living conditions. And even after World War II, it was, you know, they were still suffering real bad. And guess what Brownsville was known for? Being a murderous slum. Just like it is now. There wasn't no blacks there.
Right.
Murder Inc. Where you know, Murder Inc., where Al Capone used to hang out in Brownsville.
Right.
I mean, they developed a corporation, Murder Incorporated. We do hits for hire. That's how much, you know, resources were not in that area right there. So they were very poor, and they did whatever to get up out of there. Guess what's Brownsville known for now? The same thing. So that's why, like, even when some white people try to, why did y'all kill each other when y'all was in that situation? Don't try to skip it to the 80s and 90s. Let's talk about the 20s, 30s. What y'all was doing to each other?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent point. And why was you doing it? Why was you doing it? Okay, that's the same reason why my people are doing what they're doing now. What's supposed to change? And see, and the government was so, you know, the government was so dirty and played such a part. So that's why they say, you know, how can you love so much? Like the love-hate relationship that blacks have with our government is for this simple fact. One of the reasons is like this simple fact right here. You never was protecting us. You was always about oppressing us. That was the law. They had lynching laws and things of this nature. Jim Crow, like this was the law to oppress us and to keep us boxed out. You know what I'm saying? So then after the war, we fought World War II, and you know, we fought the Germans just as hard as anybody else. We come back here, they passed the GI Bill, they have all these programs, and guess who's X'd out again? Yep. These same veterans, these same black people. Oh no, you're not moving into our neighborhood. So they help subsidize the move from white flight, these white people to move to the suburb areas. The government helped that. The government blocked us off on no, we giving GI loans, but not to y'all right here. We giving it to them. So we were still marginalized. And then we put in this box, and then they ask, why are you guys acting like that? Like, come on, you know, it's like, what type of game you playing? Like, I see what you playing. So what this documentary does, it explains all of that. And it's not it's not me talking about Brownsville and the historical contents of Brownsville. I got a Jewish historian. Okay, you tell him what Brownsville was. And he gave it up raw. This is what it was. This is how it was. And this is what happened. These are the opportunities that was available to us that's not available to you. One thing we didn't talk about in the documentary, now if you look at old pictures in Brownsville when black people started coming over there, the Jews and the blacks was like this. Now you got to realize those signs back in the Jim Crow, it said no niggas first, second, no Jews allowed, third, no dogs. So the Jews were put right in, almost in the category right up under us. Back then in the census count used to say, are you black? Are you white? Are you Jewish? They had their own section so that they could practice being discriminatory, they discriminatory practices, right? So now look at how smooth they did this. They removed the Jewish from the section. Now they made the Jewish white. You white, you like us. So now what happens? He ain't cool with you no more. I'm white.
Right.
This is strategically placed, man. Because if you look at even the Jim Crow movements, most of the movements of the civil rights, they were led by Jewish. The Jewish people was the professors in their HBCUs. They came from Germany and wherever where they were being ostracized at and cast out, and they couldn't come teach in no white university. The whites didn't even want them there. They came and taught us. So, you got to know your history and really look at things and see why is it like it is. You know what I'm saying? So, our documentary, we don't touch on that, but I do know that when the Jewish became white. You know what I'm saying? And then now if you look at it, they go, you Spanish? Are you white Spanish?
Yep.
Or black Spanish? So now they got white Spanish, that light-skinned Spanish people, I'm white. I'm better than you. This is more division, and it's more division to keep us marginalized as a black people. And you just have to realize that, and not to just be black and white, because the society and the system sets this up to brainwash people, man. It's like how we go from, I could show you old pictures in Brownsville. You see Jewish kids and black kids and some Italians rocking out, playing, going swimming, in the hood. And then once they let them know, no, you better than them, slide off. So they were able to integrate because of this. This is something we cannot hide. We can't integrate this. So when they were able to go and get chances, or a Jewish man could say, he could change his name from Leowitz, Leowitz or whatever, to Lee. Now he's not even Jew. He's not. You don't know what he is.
Right.
We can do that. We could change our name to whatever. We black. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. So I don't like to make excuses, because like I said, I'm a man that did 7 years in prison. The streets was all I know. I had no college education. Everything I learned from the streets or reading on my own or when I was in prison, and no college education. And, I make 6 digits a year legally, right? So I'm not into making any excuses. I don't make any excuses. I'm like, if I could do it, there's no excuse. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't want no help. I'm not like, just give me a handout. But just don't bother me, man. Don't block me from doing what I gotta do.
Yeah,
just,
and
everything against me, but just let me do what I gotta do.
And we saw how history played out this year with you said that like they make us make some of us as a brown skin feel that have a lighter brown skin to feel more white, because we saw how the Cubans reacted in the elections compared to our Puerto Rican brothers and sisters, compared to our Dominican brothers and sisters, compared to our Mexican brothers and sisters. So they pick and choose, and history does repeat itself throughout time. Like, when you had first white people that not enslaved white people, they had to be servitude to us, and they give them power, like, no, we want y'all to look over, be the overseer of those niggas, those blacks. You know what I'm saying? So the history always repeats itself. And when you said that with the historical black college part, when I was going to school in the early 90s in college, most of the Muslims and Arab-speaking professors were in more historical black colleges, because a lot of white institutions wouldn't let them teach. So history always repeats itself. Well, Santa, real quick, I want to ask you a question. What do you think with some of the young brothers out here now? When you got like the like Pop Smoke, I hear his music, I'm like, damn, that brother had a lot of talent. He was on his way. He's big now, but it's sad that he don't get to see the fruits of his labor. What do you tell the young brothers now that's in this hip hop thing, with this whole thing about I gotta be tough with this gun stuff and all this other stuff? What would you say to them before, if they was into a beef with another MC or another person in the street? What would you tell them?
Well, we talk about briefly that in the doc too, but the thing, first of all, you have to understand the mentality, right, of the streets. And what happens is, a lot of times these cats, they come from the streets and then get into this legal arena, rap, and they don't know how to differentiate the two. It's like, now you're doing business, man. Now you're in corporate meetings. Now you got big sponsors. Now you representing So now, you know, you need to turn into a WWF wrestling type of dude. You could pop junk, let everybody know it's entertainment and this is what it is, right? But the thing that's not happening is that they don't know when to turn it off. You know what I'm saying? They don't realize that there's a separation now between what you was doing in the streets and what now is a legit business for you. And then some people are doing it backwards. And this is where a lot of the problem happened. Most people that were really in the streets putting in work, if you got an opportunity to be legit, you're not gonna be doing no dumb shit. Excuse my language. Can I talk like that on there?
This is chop it up, baby. You can say whatever you want to say.
All right. So you know they're not gonna be doing dumb shit like that if they know they done got out of that dumb shit. They done did prison time. They done been in the streets, and you know now you could get you could open up your bank accounts. You got places to put your money legally. Like you don't have to go through all that BS that you was going through when you was in the streets. So most of the people that were really, really doing it like that in the streets, once they get to, you know, a place that they're making us legal, legit money, they trying to find a way how to you know, sidestep beefs and stuff like that anyway, right? But a lot of cats, they trying to live up to this persona. They may have grew up in the suburbs and talking about, yo, I grew up in the hood. It was mad rough, kid, da-da-da-da. Because they feel like this is the only way they're going to make it or be, you know, respected or certified, right? And then they start imitating. They start imitating something that they've never been a part of. And then you're going to make a lot of big mistakes while you're doing that, man. You're going to make a lot of big mistakes while you're doing that. Now, you know, I don't like to, like, with Pop Smoke, man, that it hurts because I'm like, man, if he had the right people around him, if he had the right people around him, right, I think that some right older, like if you look at with Snoop and but Snoop always kept Uncle June around him. He kept you know, the older cats of Magic Don Juan, and you know, people look at it like, oh, he just like to hang around pimps and that. Nah, these dudes were spitting jewels in his ear, man. But trust me, when he started coming up with some Nikki said, what's the documentary? It's called Killing Beef. So
right on the shirt.
Yeah.
Find out Revolt TV right now, right? Sam
it's on Revolt, but next year it's gonna be worldwide, and I'll make the announcement, and it's gonna be all over the place, you know.
That's what's up.
So you know when like with Pop Smoke, you know, if he had the right guidance, right, an OG around him, they would have let him know, like, yo, look. All that pride aside, man, when you come into a new town, especially with LA, and not saying that this is, I don't want to just like say like this was all Pop Smoke fault, because he didn't know better.
Yeah, did he check in?
You got to check in, man.
You got to check in.
And it's like put the pride to the side or whatever.
And Samson, Samson, explain to some of the people, because you know we know the street stuff. So explain to people what checking in is.
So the check-in is like just showing respect to the cats that's running those areas, especially if they're gang related or whatever, or even if it's not that, if you don't have the street connect, you have to connect to somebody that has that street connect. You can't just be out there juried up or like, yo, F these LA cats or you know, whatever, I'm out here, I'm me and da da da. You have to, and I'm saying me without being a rap dude. I got a brother that live out there I have a brother that live out there in Cali, and you know, whenever I go out there, I used to go out there often, a whole lot. And I had little crews that as soon as I come out there, I hit them up. Yo, I'm in town, man. Yo, I knew I was going to travel with them for more than one reason. One, they know where the safe zone's at. Two, they know people. So I'm going to get to know people. They're going to associate me with these people. You know what I'm saying? And then another thing I always did, then I used to have long hair, whatever. I always went to the beauty shop. The dopest beauty shop out, that's where I would go sit, because I knew these fly girls are going to come in. These fly girls talk to the fly dudes. The fly dudes are the one that's the shot callers. And I'm going to get to know who I need to get to know so that I know how to maneuver when I'm in that place. Brooklyn, we have a tendency, and I'm telling you, man, when I was in Japan, I ran into somebody from Brooklyn. You're going to run into Brooklyn cats everywhere.
Facts.
And one thing about us is like, man, we don't care. I'm going whatever, and I'm going to be me, whatever. You go to Baltimore, you're gonna see some Brooklyn. Anywhere you're gonna see some Brooklyn dudes. And some know how to carry it and some don't. And I say Pop Smoke was young. He was only what, 20, 21?
Something like that. Baby,
you know what I'm saying?
The baby, man.
Life, like me at 20, I was getting paper and hustling out of town. I didn't wait. It wasn't a rap record or something that put jewels and money and stuff in my pocket. I was going out to get it. So I learned young how to act in certain places or whatever. And then when I got to Cali, it was a whole different story. You know what I'm saying? Because those brothers, their gang thing is a little more organized than what we have here, like all over the place or whatever. Like you go some certain places there to even do construction, you're not gonna finish that job until a few people get hired. Magic Johnson will tell you when he's building his movie theater out there. Crip stepped to him like, "Yo, partner, I know you want to LA, you purple. I know you purple and yellow and all that." But you know, you got to check in. You got to put some people to work. Like you can't just. And he had to hire people on the spot. Like that's just what it is. That's the culture. So I'm not saying that's the reason why he got murdered, but I know if he had some type of guidance, that's why I said it's up to us, man, black men, to step up and to garner the respect from these youngsters. Because a lot of young cats, man, they old head, like. You know, you be called old head or something like it's disrespectful, or you being disrespected for being wise enough to live some years. But you know what? You want to die dirty?
Samson, do you think it's because a lot of the young brothers grew up around men that they don't listen to older cats like us that been around the block a few times? Do you think it's that that's causing them? Because it seems like you and I both work with young people. Samson and I do business together. He helps out with a lot of young people in some of the programs that we run. He also teaches camera work and all the stuff like that, production. So this guy's a genius. So
thanks.
Do you think? I'll give you the check later on for that, man. So, do you think when you and I get them one-on-one, it's a different story. But do you think it's because they're not around men? They try to show out in front of their friends why they want to get the jewels that we spit to them? Do you think it's the father figure missing, or what is it?
I think it's a number of things, man. I think first of all, I think them being misguided by the older brothers, especially that gang mentality. You got somebody 17, they talking about their OG is 23, 24.
Jesus.
How much he's seen at 23, 24 that you listening to. And then, I think that the crack era really messed us up. It messed us up, man.
That was a selfish error on us. That was a very
because up until then, I remember coming up, it wasn't. I remember when there were men in the neighborhood that you just gave respect. They was older. You know what I'm saying? You respect Miss Green if she's coming in the hallway and you smoking a blunt, even if she smell it. You like, hey, how you doing, Miss Green? And hold it in. And if she's standing there talking to you for a while, you're like, man, like, come on, Miss Green, here, let me have the elevator. She may laugh or whatever. She know what but you show them respect. Now, cats will be like, hey, Candy. Nah, that ain't Candy. Her name Miss Green. Like, she old enough to be your mom. What are you talking about, Candy? You know what I'm saying? Like, so all of that is gone. Like, to the day, my elders is still Mr. and Mrs. to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's just something I hold. And another thing is that a lot of the older brothers, they scared to check these younger dudes, man, because they're like, yo, these dudes ain't, and I know I was a young dude that was wild at one time too, but we're not approaching these young brothers like that, man. Like I remember one time I was on the train and these young dudes were just out of order. There's like a lot of white people and stuff around, and they using the N-word like crazy loud and just cursing and just being like crazy, right? So I couldn't take it anymore. So but I went to them with respect. I said, "Yo, that's my nephew over there. Yo, Ty, that's you?" And he looked. And I said, "Yo, you look just like my nephew, man." I said, I was ready to say, "Yo, I know my nephew ain't on this train wilding like this, B." And he was like, and then I started getting at him from there. Like, yo, man, you got these people looking at you, da-da-da. We got to represent that. They calmed it down. And at the end, they gave me that and got off. Nah, you right, man. You right, man. And got off. That's missing. we don't even like approach these younger cats and try to get them jewels. And then another thing too, we don't have stuff for them to look up to, man. They like, I'm not listening to no broke dude that's washed out. Now you come through and you looking flossy and you chilling, you can have the greatest bed ever. They gonna listen to you, and that's messed up. You know what I'm saying? So you know that part right there is what we have to fix amongst ourselves, man. Like, we are too disconnected with each other. Like, there's no men group that really get men together to like start strategizing on, yo, what we gonna do with these communities, man? What resources that you have that I could, you know, use, and that we can make this work over here and over there and over there. Until we come together as men to do that, women they carrying the load right now. They're doing the best they can. They're doing a great job, but they can't do a complete job. They can't make the whole turnaround, man, without us. And until we step up and put ourselves in that, simply like what you're doing with the kids, that you may not know, the difference in a child that you, or one of the young ones that you will make, just maybe from a conversation that you don't even know, that you ain't even paying attention to, that may save somebody's life because you're interacting with them on a regular. You know,
that happens all the time, man. I mean, they call me Unc. You know, right. A lot of my old students all call me Dad and all kind of stuff, man. So it's like,
we have to do that, man. We as black men, we have to step up. We can't wait. The black woman been doing it, man. She been doing it.
They've been holding us down. The thing is, like I tell people all the time, when you go down Eastern Parkway, you always see the Jewish man leading the family to whatever they're going to. So we got to start doing that, like how we grew up back in the day. We got to start becoming those leaders again, you know, and carry our women. Because our women right now is carrying us. They carrying the shit. They carrying the damn country right now.
They're carrying the generations. Generation on their back, man.
Yeah, man. So they counting on the black women right now in Georgia to bring this vote across. So you know, so you know how it is. So you know, so we got to do a better job at that. And I hope the young brothers that they see this, they understand like we are here for you. Like I always approach, like you said, Samson, is the way you approach the young people. Because with me, young people, I tell them I can meet them, they could be calling each other nigga, but I would never call them nigga. I would say my brother, whatever, because it's a different approach. When I could go to any thug-looking dude and I come with that brother approach and different, they're going to listen. Because I'm not, like, when you say call each other nigga like that in the street, it's a different kind of feel. Like, I don't have no love for that nigga. But I say my brother, it's way kind of love.
And you being an elder, if you like my nigga, you putting yourself on their level.
Yeah.
They want to learn from you. You know what I'm saying? They want to be in check. So that they want to know, yo, chill, man. Here comes Samson, man. He be on that bullshit. But they want that. They want the exercise. They want it. Like, you know.
I tell old people when I go speaking to kids and stuff, they always want structure. Who doesn't want it? Who don't want to be guided right? They know they seen their homeboy die young. They all want that. They want that. It's just how I approach to getting it to them. And then sometimes they'll come on the side. That the ones that really want it, they be the most thugged out ones. They'll come to the side. Come down. I see them coming to my office. Little Jules. Yo, what's that book you told me to read? Blah, 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 blah. And that's how it goes. And we just got to get back to that. And I think we can start saving our youth, you know. And like you said,
let me ask you this question. Let me ask this question. And after hearing you, this may be somewhat rhetorical, but I had this debate in seminary with a young lady. So, Samson, if you could only help one group, young black men or young black women, if you could only help one of those groups, who would you help?
Young black men, because they need it the most.
And obviously it would have more of an effect on the other if you help young black men. Got you.
Black women, they have support systems. They more united than we are, even though some of them may not think so, but I'm on the outside looking in. They got their sisterhood. They'll get together and, you know, like, fuck that nigga together. And be like, you know, we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that. We very separated, right? And the black young men need to see strength. They need to see black men with strength. And I don't mean like, oh, you running the block type of strength. They need to see you with your head up high, man. They need to see you carrying yourself, you know, dressed a certain way. They need to see you articulating yourself in a certain manner. They need to see that grown man shit to emulate.
They need to size themselves up, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're shorter, you need to size yourself up against the old man.
Right.
You know?
That's why I want to be like, oh, yo, I dig how he moved right there. You see how he just shut that down with 3 words? And how you treat your woman. They watching that. Right? So that's why, like, I made it a point, and Dee knows I made it a point to always put my wife out there and to show the respect and love that I have for her family, how I treat her, because I wanted to show, like, yo, it's cool. You need to treat a woman like a queen, B, because what she is a reflection of you. So if she's out there acting a certain way, and I'm just like, yo, that's his what? That's his woman? That's his whiz right there? Now I'm looking at you funny because, yo, this is what you allowing? This is how you rock out. So now that may determine if I'm going to do business with you or not. If your woman is out of line, I can't do business with you because I know you're not too stable. You could say yes today, but she running things. So if
keep your life in order.
If she don't like it, it's not going to go down. And see, these young men need to know that. They need to understand that. And I don't care what women say around each other, they know they want a strong man that's going to be disciplined and put shit in order. Not saying they want somebody that's like, you know, that's ruling with an iron fist, but they want a man that they know that they're going to be secure, that's going to stand on his word, that's going to be strong, firm, what he says he means, and that's going to guide them in the right way, and that could play the part of the man in the family. You know, so these young boys, they need to see that. So, you know, I try to show that with the relationship with me and my wife, and just me and my daughter, or whatever women I'm involved with, you know, relationship, cousins, aunts, or whatever. They see that the respect that they give me as a man, and the respect in return I give them as a woman. And if you need to be disrespectful, Duke, you don't need that. Another thing is like, yo, to pull them up, yo, Duke. Everything that looks good ain't you know, it ain't gold. You looking at that woman right there, you know, she got body and all that, but she messing with mad dudes, and you cool. I understand that. I was young too. You may want to tap that, but is that somebody you want to have a baby by? Nah, I don't. So, Duke, that could possibly happen. With a condom on, B, it could happen. This is stuff that we need to. So even if they do it afterwards and something happens, they think, yo, the OG told me too, man. He told me this. You know what I'm saying? So we got to constantly give them jewels, man. The stuff that we know, that could go a long way. Like, we just have to be more involved with the young people in the community, man.
Yo,
Absolutely.
Samson, like, listen, bro, he dropped a lot of jewels today, man. A lot of jewels. A lot of people keep seeing things like, and texting like, where can we find you at? Where can we find Samson at? So Samson, tell him we can find Killing Beef, where we can find Samson Styles. Tell them what all the stuff you're doing in the community, everything. I want to give the people everything.
Wow, man. Well, Killing Beef is right now it's on Revolt. So I don't know if you're going to Revolt on demand or whatever. You may be able to see it. If it's not on there, I have to, being I'm in the middle of this new deal, it will be airing again in February and throughout. They're going to have it as their marquee piece for Black History Month. So that's dope. But if you want to see the trailer, just hit Killing Beef, Samson Styles, and it'll pop up, and you can see the trailer and at least see what it's going to be about. You can see me on IG, the Samson Styles. I don't be on Twitter that much. I'm gonna start being more active on there. I also have there's a film that I'm in right now that's on Epix on demand. If you go to Joe's War, I act as well, and I play a young Marine, and that
listen, I'm watching this thing, right, and this is my man, and I know his age. I'm like, how is he the young Marine? He's older than everybody in the cast.
Yo, check this out, right?
Right.
Yo, when we had to do the scene where it was a basic training scene, and we had to climb over the 40-foot wall. Man, these dudes having a hard time. They had to fake, you know, and we had to do the scene maybe 20, 30 times. Me and my man, we getting over the rope getting over the wall every time, no help. So I was like 44 then when we did that, right? So when the young cats, when they found out how old I was, they was like, what? 44. Yo, if I knew that, I would have made sure I got over that.
Yo, Sam's in good shape, man. That dude, I was cracking up, man. Every time I see that, I was dying laughing. This dude Samson's older than everybody, and he's in better shape. So Samson, man, listen, brother, I appreciate you, man. You know how much love I got for you, brother, man. That this was great, man. A lot of people, and what you said about black men and leaders, I see all the women chatting in. That just goes to show you they want us to be strong.
Yeah, man.
They gotta be tired. We gotta hold that shield up and let them lean on our shield now. So we truly appreciate brothers like you in the community, man, and the fight and the jewels that you keep dropping to the young people. Don't stop being you, my brother. I love you to death.
I love you too, man.
Word up, man.
All right, Kelvin.
Peace. Tell your wife what's up. Tell your wife I said what's up, brother. Tell your wife what's up, man. All right, man. All right, man. All right, peace, brother. Later, man. Salute. Yo, that was good, man. That was good.
Hey, man, listen, the best resource we got as men is black women, brother. Let me tell you.
Serious.
You know what I mean?
And we
put that battery
we gotta
back.
we gotta get better. We gotta get stronger, brothers. I mean, like, we gotta show each other love so the sisters can love us. You know, they're gonna love us. Mostly they're gonna love us regardless. But we gotta do better. And that Samson brought home, like, you know, we gotta become those leaders. And hopefully, like, you know, this new change and like this wokeness and sorry that we had lose brothers like George Floyd to be sacrificed, and you know, and the Breonna Taylor that we're going to be there for them. So you know, this, I mean, we have to do it, man. We have to do it.
And we want to shout out Rodney. He's on location. Everybody, don't trip. He's doing our international feed. So you know, he's on location right now.
Yo, his wife really might not pay that cable bill because he just wants. He can't get him on the phone. He can't get him on a computer. I don't know what happened. I'm trying to type and stuff, chatting on the phone. Like, yo, where's Rod at? So it's like they must have came and repoed that joint right out the wall.
Yeah, man. Shout out Rodney, man. Word.
My man.
Shout out Rodney. So we get him.
Good show, fellas. Good show. Thank you.
Listen, man. I love you, brothers, man. Next week, let's chop it up, man. Y'all be safe.
And thank the viewers. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Please, like and subscribe. Remember, we on YouTube. You want to say something, Dirk?
And shout out to the CMOS, man. Shout out to that.
Oh yeah. They came back for us on that.
New Life
so you can find, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Peace, everybody. We love y'all. Thanks for meeting with us again. Peace.
God bless you.